The biggest mistake first homeowners make is giving the real estate agent too much information. It literally cost a mate of mine $45,000. And if you stick around till the end of the video, you're gonna learn 9 massive mistakes first homeowners are making and what you can do to avoid them. Careful what you say. Last week, I caught up with a mate of mine I hadn't seen in ages. We swapped war stories of all the mistakes we made when we were first homeowners. Back then, he and his now wife had fallen in love with their home, which they now own. I mean, they were proper in love. Wow. Truly head over heels, and it was their forever home. Have you ever played poker with someone that thinks they have a poker face, but in reality, everyone sees through it? That's what happened here with my mate. Everyone, including the agent, knew they were in love with the home and would stop at nothing to get it. So when it came to making the offer, my mate called the agent and, to his credit, had all the comparable sales in the area which had recently sold. His offer was fair and reasonable, but he hadn't accounted for what the agent was going to respond with. The agent said, "There's a lot of interest in this property and it'd be best to put your best foot forward." After saying that, utter silence. Not being used to silence, my mate looked to fill in the gap. First, he talked about the comparable sales, then he went on about how much he and his wife loved the property, and eventually went back to the price. He asked the agent, would this figure or that figure secure the property? Eventually, the agent stepped in, $45,000 higher than his initial offer, saying that he'd take that offer to the owner, and was ultimately what secured their family home. At the time, this was a record sale in the area. The tale does have a happy ending. The good news is they're still living there today. They have 2 beautiful children and their home is worth much more when they first purchased it. Here are 3 things you can do to avoid making this mistake. When you're at an open home or in the presence of a real estate agent, keep the discussion about the property with your loved ones to a minimum. Don't say how much you like a particular feature. Say nothing. Leave that for when you're in the privacy of your car. Second, when talking with the agent, remember that anything you say will be used against you. They're working for the seller, know this and remember this. If in doubt, leave it out. The third, and one of the most important, is know that silence is a key tactic in negotiations. If silence appears, embrace it. The first who talks loses. Who's asking the questions? When I bought my first home, the real estate agent asked me so many questions. Not knowing any better, I thought he was trying to help me out. The questions the agent asked helped him to better understand my overall situation. Ultimately, because of these questions, he was able to uncover that I'd been looking for a home for over 18 months, and I was so over the buying process. This actually reduced my negotiation ability because he knew that I was getting desperate. I learned in any negotiation, it is a person who's asking the question who controls the conversation. Always be asking the agent questions. Like judo, I want to use the energy of the agent in my questions to work against them. Hopefully, I can uncover some information that might not have otherwise been divulged. Here are a few examples. If the agent asks, what's your budget? Well, it all depends on what the owner is willing to sell the property for. If the agent asks, are you pre-approved? Has the owner had issues with offers that have fallen over due to finance in the past? Here are 3 things to avoid. The first is if the agent's asking you questions to gather information, ask the questions back. Second, the person who's asking the questions is the one who's in control of the negotiations. And the last, remember the golden rule. The real estate agent works for the seller. They may seem like they're trying to help you. However, they get paid commissions by the seller to sell their property and ultimately are after the best outcome for them. Future plans to add value. It would have only been my 3rd open home I'd visited, where I was greeted by an eccentric agent. He was an interesting chap and full of life. Whilst I was wandering around the open home, I couldn't help but overhear another potential buyer sharing with the agent their grand plans for the property. I didn't take much notice of this, and as soon as that buyer left, I continued to mosey around the property. As I concluded the inspection, I thanked the agent and he struck up a conversation with me. He went on explaining how I could turn downstairs into an Airbnb or even a granny flat and live upstairs. He shared that it wouldn't cost much to do and would easily increase the property value. What I learned from this is it's best not to tell the agent any of your future plans you have for the property or where you see ways to increase value. I'm unsure if what the agent told me was the grand plans of the interested party he'd talked to earlier. However, by telling the agent your plans, any of the following could occur. They could tell other interested buyers of this upside as a selling point. They could use this information to increase the value of the property when negotiating with you, or they could hit up their database of buyers that might actually be looking for something with similar upside. Remember, don't give too much information away. Keep your cards close to your chest. After all, you want to keep as much negotiation power as you can. Don't play hard to get. Playing hard to get might work on the dating scene. However, it doesn't quite work with the real estate agent game. I've recently had a client ghost an agent for a property that they were super interested on going to auction. Unfortunately, by ignoring the agent, he missed out on the property. It turned out the agent was contacting him to inform that the vendor was going to sell the property prior to auction and was taking all offers by close of business the next day. Remember, the agent is working for the seller to find the most suitable buyer, and it's important to keep your communication open with the real estate agent. Don't be shy, show you have an interest in the property. This doesn't mean that you can't play hardball when negotiating. It means to keep the agent informed of your interest in the property and what your next move is going to be here. It pays to keep the agent on site. Communication is key. It's not about showing your hand rather than being kept in the loop with the latest while maintaining your cards close to your chest. No idea about the market. When I purchased my first home, I was bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and had no clue what I was doing. I was letting the agent know I had no clue about the property market and wasn't even sure what the property might be worth. This is a cardinal sin and a big no-no. It's because the agent can try and justify what they think the property is worth by providing specific sales in the area that might back up their appraisal. Whether the market is booming or declining, if you let the agent know you have no idea what's going on in the market, they might lead you to believe that the property has heaps of interest in it and you'd better be fast or you're going to miss out. It pays to get educated here. Get to as many open homes as you can. You want to get an idea of how many groups are going through the properties in the areas that you're interested in and how quick they're selling. Also, leverage online tools like RP Data or Real Hours to get an idea of what the property might be worth prior to making an offer. You have tight timelines. Are you getting kicked out of where you're renting? Do you need to move out of mum and dad's quick or in a rush to move somewhere closer to work? Then you shouldn't reveal this to the real estate agent when inspecting property. This makes you an easy target when negotiating and could cost you thousands of dollars above the market value. Don't let the agent know you have a tight deadline. Have a plan B and be prepared to walk away if you don't find the right property. The last thing you want to do is make a big decision to solve a short-term problem. You're gutted about the one you missed out on. I have certainly been guilty of this and have let the agent know that there was one that got away. It's probably best to keep this under your hat and avoid letting the agent know that you're gutted that you've missed out on another property. By letting the agent know that you've missed out, they know that you're on the rebound, looking to ensure you don't miss out on the next one. The last thing you want to do is let the agent know you're getting emotionally fatigued by the process. This puts you in a disadvantaged position when negotiating. It's best to keep your poker face on when dealing with the agent. What's your budget? Don't reveal it. I feel like I've been asked this at every open home I've ever attended, and it's a top question the real estate agent is going to ask you when inspecting. It may feel counterproductive not to disclose your price limit. The issue is once the agent knows your specific budget, it gives them leverage and decreases your negotiation ability. Careful here too, as some agents actually give you access to properties that might not have hit the market yet. Best is to frame your answer with a healthy price range. Underpitch, and the agent's not going to show you properties within your price range. Overpitch, and they might use this to negotiate you higher. For example, if you're looking to spend $600,000, you might respond with the agent by saying your range is anywhere from $500,000 to $650,000. You've got to have it. Have you found the perfect property and willing to do whatever it takes to secure it? Well, best to keep it on the quiet. You don't want to let the agent know you're willing to pay above market value for the property because you've fallen in love with it. Once they know this, they can easily push the purchase price up during the negotiations and even get you in a bidding war with someone else. Remember to stay calm when dealing with the agent. You might feel comfortable dealing with them, and whilst they are helping you out through the process, remember who they're working for. Don't get too comfortable, keep your guard up, and ensure you don't divulge anything that might reduce your chances of negotiation. And there you have it. You're now in the know. So it's over to you. Are you looking to buy a place? Did you know at Hunter Galloway, we help people across Australia? So whether you're looking to refinance or purchase, you're in safe hands. Simply reach out or call us on 1300 088 065 or visit huntergalloway.com.au. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.